Herb. Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything. Herb.
Welcome to Eugene Cannabis TV. You got DanK here, your host, and our friend Blue Whale is here with us this evening. And we, of course, the biggest thing we want to talk about is end of April, and we want to talk about 420.
Yeah, if you went to the Ball Branch to the 420 party on 420, you got a great day of music by Blue Lotus and other bands. Yeah. It was a total smoke-in. Yeah. I was proud to be there. It was a day of fun, and many dispensaries like Green Rush had events with music happening too. It was our unofficial World Cannabis Day.
That's right, April 20th, 420, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, I went to three events in myself. I was there to begin with at 9 in the morning at Aldenbaker Park for Michael Anthony's first cannabis church or cannabis revival, Christian revival. Anyway, it's just him and I and his ladies, but hopefully we'll get more numbers coming. But the main thing is he wanted to make a point, and someone called the police, and they showed up and said he couldn't smoke pot there. And Michael said, "Well, we will be," and or I will be, he said later. And so they sat in the parking lot for about 40 minutes watching this. And finally, he went out on went out on the sidewalk and then smoked his doobie, the whole thing by himself, and nobody ever bothered him. So he was disappointed because he wanted to be arrested. Michael is a real hardcore activist and strong on rights and special cannabis rights. So I have a lot of admiration for the guy, and anyway, so that was the first event, and then I went to the Bull Branch also, and like Blue Whale said, it was an incredible event, a lot of great people there, and saw a lot of old friends, and met the new ones, and then we went to the Green Rush, and I got there at the tail end of those festivities. I never made it upstairs. I found out they had all the food. Did you get up there?
Yeah, the Green Rush, they had tables of food.
Oh man, I didn't even hear
and
about it.
nobody there. I mean, it was just no other customers. It was just
yeah,
chocolate cake. Oh my God, man. I took home so much food. It was just amazing. But
boy,
what a great day on 420.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
and then 422 on Saturday, Blue Whale and I were at the Earth Day, the 420, the Earth Day celebration.
Yes, at Normal Beans.
Normal Beans. That was the Eugene Pot Club production, and we'll be talking about that here in a few minutes. But anyway, and the hot band there was Johnny Wheels.
Yes.
What a band that is.
Yeah, and Normal Bean and his band.
Yeah, and
Let the freak flags fly. Say that fast.
Yeah.
Freak flags fly.
Yeah. And we all had what we consider one person that tried to test our security. He wanted to come in and didn't want to sign the register, and none of us knew him. And he, rather than sign our register and join our club, he left. So
I wasn't aware of that, but
yeah, and we had one other the last time we did an event. We had one just like it, exactly like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, you got people who will sit there all night and drink alcohol in front of their TV.
Oh yeah.
But they don't want you to have any rights.
Right, and that's one of the things about this event is we don't have alcohol there.
Yeah, that's a double standard.
Yeah.
And when we get the official pot cards at the pot club, there won't be any alcohol inside those gates.
Yeah, this is I'll run through the agreement real quick so people can understand what this is about. But the Eugene Pot membership card holder, after you join voluntarily, agree to hold harmless all Eugene Pot Club representatives from and against all liability, and waive any and all rights to prosecute in civil or criminal court representatives or club as a result of participation in any Eugene Pot Club events. In addition, I agree that by purchasing a membership and signing the roster to become a Eugene Pot Club member, I have entered a legally binding contract between all parties involved stating that I was a member cardholder, agreed to follow all rules, guidelines, and directions of the Eugene Pot Club. And so, and then Eugene Pot Club does not sell or distribute any cannabis product. No one is allowed in club area without a valid ID and without being a member. Eugene Pot Club reserves the right to refuse membership and to withdraw acceptance of an application for any reason. All events are non-public events held on private grounds as private events, and there's a 1 cent membership fee which is due when you sign up. And that's a legal requirement that we were told that we couldn't, if
Yes.
we had to charge something to make it legal, so we charge a penny.
Right, that's what you do. You makes it legal.
So anyway, that's a quick rundown in Eugene Pot Club, and that's what's we've evolved in lieu of the Emerald Empire Hemp Fest. And after we were badly treated by the city and denied the use of the park, we dropped the Hemp Fest to Emerald Empire Hemp Fest. It's no longer in existence, and now we have the Eugene Pot Club, and we'll be announcing events coming up on that one. So.
Yes, and Normal Bean, who owns the property where the pot club is located, said after the event last year that we beat the city and won. That was his. I'm just quoting him. He said we won. In Oregon, it's in your home to smoke or private property. Or private property. You could be on a private farm or anything.
Yeah.
And nobody can do a thing to you. Private property or your home. So this is very important that we get places like this.
Exactly.
You know, where we can have events and have our security and keep the knuckleheads out.
Yeah, the smoking lounges have had to shut down. There were some in Portland. There was a really nice one in Salem. And they got shut down by the rules, by the smoking rules of Oregon, where you can't have anybody smoking.
Clean Air Act.
Clean Air Act, yeah, thank you. And so that's what shut those down, because especially in the winter, patients can't go outside and smoke. So that shut all those down. And there's been some, I don't know, I never heard anything about the legislature. There's supposed to be something working on the.
Well, I know Colorado is.
Yeah.
They're talking about smoking in public. And having, because other states don't have the Clean Air Act, so they can smoke in buildings if they pass that. They're working on that in Colorado. With Oregon, there was some information about it, but then I didn't hear anymore.
Yeah, same here. And I don't know what became of that particular bill, but
anyway,
because
there was 30 plus cannabis bills in this Oregon legislature.
Oh yeah.
And it was funny because the Governor Kate Brown wanted them done by 4/20.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny because they have other business they have to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I totally understand that. And a lot of the bills never go anywhere. They die in session.
Yep.
You know, because the same jerks introduce jerky bills every legislative section.
Yep.
Like Andy Olson and.
Yeah, like the anti-paraphernalia law or bill that some Republican, always a Republican, somebody with an R behind their name to come up with these idiotic proposals.
If they had their way, they'd just have you eating the edibles, which is okay. But some people like to smoke.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Some people like a bong. So I thought that was kind of a joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they bring these up every other legislative session. These bills.
Yeah.
That go nowhere.
Anyway, we wanted to talk about the Senate Bill 863, protecting your privacy. That's a real important thing going through the legislature. Yeah,
this was in the Oregon legislature, Senate Bill 863, and this it's a proposal to prevent retailers from keeping and collecting personal information of cannabis consumers who make purchases within the state. It passed overwhelmingly, but medical card holders were in this 863, but at the last minute, medical card holders were taken out And their reasoning is the only exception to 863 is for medical card holders. By receiving a medical card, you also opt to having your cards obtained and stored. So I assume that means public knowledge. But as far as anybody else, their records would be destroyed, what they purchased in the dispensaries. Now here's kind of a update on Senate Bill 863. Last week, Senate Bill 863 was amended to exclude medical cannabis card holders. Senate Bill 863 is now on its way to the House for consideration. If Senate Bill 863 is passed by the House as expected, Oregon's cannabis industry will have 30 days to destroy records of recreational customers' information. They would no longer be permitted to gather those records, except for medical card holders or people to opt into having their information tracked. And talking about these kind of bills, Colorado, and this is from March 20th. Colorado lawmakers weigh bold strategies to protect against marijuana crackdown. Everybody's scared about Beauregard. And the bill would let growers instantly reclassify their pot from recreational to medical. That's in Colorado. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. And then, Hawaii, they want to, I thought they had medical already.
They do.
Pros medical cannabis in Hawaii.
Huh. I don't know.
I thought they had passed that.
They did. In fact, I remember because Hawaii was the first one to pass medical marijuana through the legislature. They didn't even do with an issue.
Right.
So I don't know what they're talking about. The headline we're looking at says, "Hoping for Aloha, proposed medical cannabis in Hawaii." So I don't know.
I don't know.
Read in detail, I guess. But by the way, what were you reading out of? Did you quote the magazine there?
Stoner Magazine.
Stoner Magazine. What issue is that?
This is, I think this is the latest one. This is
April
17th.
April this year, yeah. Okay.
So that's a new one.
Yeah, I haven't heard of the Stoner Magazine. It's amazing.
No, that's a new one.
Oh, okay.
Every time you go to the dispensary, you find new magazines.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah.
You know, people are putting these things out.
It's amazing the magazines that are coming out now, you know. In fact, I remember we started seeing the ads for like, you know, $10 or $5 off on a gram coupon. I never thought I'd see that, you know.
It's like going to Walmart.
Yeah.
You got a $5 off coupon.
Yeah.
It's amazing how things are coming along. But
Yeah.
we got a long ways to go, though.
Oh yeah, that's
We
it.
do.
That's
We're not there yet because we had that double standard.
In fact, we already burnt the first half of the show up already up to this point. That's how time flies. We're having fun.
Yes.
But we're going to have to take a break here in a little bit and come on back. But we'll be talking about some more issues, cannabis related, of course. And we try to educate everybody and talk about our experiences, and always invite people to come on down and be on the show, just like Blue Whale did. Love to have people come on down. I think I could use a regular co-host. It'd be great. So anyway, we're going to be right here when you get back, so I hope you...
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about. One without all the calories and serious health problems. Less toxic so it doesn't cause hangovers or overdose deaths, and it's not linked to violence or reckless behavior. Marijuana, less harmful than alcohol, and time to treat it that way. For more information, visit marijuanaissafer.org.
Welcome back to the second half of episode 644. We're here with Blue Whale, and you got your host here, DanK. And we're talking about stories that we're reading out different publications about what's going on with the laws and cannabis issues here and different states. And I got the story here in a little bit. We'll talk about Southern Oregon. They have a heck of a time in Southern Oregon, and this is just another example. So, but you want to talk about the Washington?
No, I think that was pretty important.
Oh yeah. Well, this was this was in the Mail Tribune, the Medford paper, written by Vicki Aldous, dated April 21st, titled "Community Considers Declaring Pot a Nuisance." With perhaps thousands of legal medical marijuana grows in rural residential zones, Jackson County is considering whether to designate them a nuisance, a move that could trigger enforcement action against growers. The county adopted marijuana regulations in March 2016 that, coupled with a change in state law, made growing medical marijuana in rural residential zones illegal. Recreational marijuana grows had already been banned there. Rural residents are allowed to grow 4 plants for personal use, and marijuana can be grown in large quantities on land zoned for agricultural use. County officials said medical marijuana growers who had already been raising pot in those zones could apply to be grandfathered in by seeking a pre-existing non-conforming use permit. But planning staff have been denying the applications, triggering a wave of appeals before county hearings officers. With the county receiving complaints from neighbors about grows, Development Services Director Kelly Madding recommended the county consider declaring medical marijuana grows on rural residential land a nuisance. This week, the Jackson County Board of Commissioners directed staff members to research the pros and cons of such a move. Madding said the county could potentially be flooded with hundreds or thousands of pre-existing non-conforming use permit applications from growers, with the numbers likely in the thousands. Marijuana proponents have estimated there are thousands of grows in Jackson County, although not all are in rural residential land. The county has 816,000 acres that could continue to be legal for grows, including exclusive farm use and forest zones, Madding said. The county has 43,000 acres of rural residential land. Many of those properties are relatively small, about 2 acres, meaning many people are living in close proximity to marijuana grows, she said. It's not unreasonable for people to have a place to live out in the country in Jackson County where they don't have to live next to marijuana, Madding said. She said people have complained they have to move away because of nearby grows. I hear from people, we're moving and our property is worth less because people don't want to live next to a grow, Madding said. Neighbors have complained about skunk-like odors from marijuana plants, noise, traffic, aggressive guard dogs, gun-toting growers, strangers coming and going, wells running dry, and other problems. Madding said people don't want to live near marijuana, are being pushed out of the countryside into the cities that don't allow marijuana grows within their boundaries. It grows on rural residential land where declared nuisances. The county could take code enforcement action after receiving complaints. Grows would be treated like any other nuisance, such as accumulating garbage and debris. County Council Joel Benton said a drawback of calling a grow a nuisance could be that a landowner might argue the county has reduced the value of the property. Landowners could say they should be compensated by the county for the lost value. Benton said the situation could raise a complex legal question. Is eliminating someone's right to grow medical marijuana, which remains illegal under federal law, a taking of their property value that requires compensation? So
that's interesting. Yeah, they've been having problems down there for a while.
Yeah, shot across the bow. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
You know.
But they have been. It's been battle royal down there.
And I guarantee, because I lived down south in Grants Pass and Glendale, and I know what that area is like. Mm-hmm. And I moved from Grants Pass because I couldn't stand the people. Mm-hmm. You know, they say it's the climate, but it better because it ain't the people. I can tell you that. I even went to a meeting when Medford tried to shut down the dispensary there.
Oh yeah.
There was dispensary,
Yeah.
and I went to that hearing and testified. And it was that police chief that ran things. It was his way or the highway. You know, that's the way it was.
Wow.
So
It's the one that got voted out, right?
yes,
Yeah.
he got voted out.
Yeah.
Now the police chief they have now is more progressive.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why Medford has got this through. You know,
Huh.
but I want to read something here. Let's call it a quick hit. I thought this was interesting. 2.65 acres of industrial property in Eagle Point, Oregon is being considered for a new marijuana-friendly RV park called, ready for this, Smoke on the Water.
Oh, yeah, I think it's Selmick Lake, I think is what I heard about it.
Is that Lake Selmac?
Lake Selmick,
Really?
I think is what I heard. If I remember correctly, but yeah. Oh,
Eagle
yeah.
Point.
Yeah, that's
And the other one, there's another one, 82% of cannabis consumers point to marijuana as the reason they drink less alcohol in a new report from Ease.
oh, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh.
And this is the topper, $425,000 of a new $475,000 college scholarship fund for high school seniors in Colorado's Pueblo County was funded by marijuana tax revenue.
Huh. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, yeah. A lot
They
of
don't like
revenue.
us, but they like the money.
Yeah, yeah. That's
You know, here's one. Washington legislature considers marijuana home delivery. We're taking down the black market, the cartels, and running a safe, legal market. Retailers will be allowed to take phone and web orders.
Oh, yeah.
This is in Washington State. They're considering it. DEA removes cannabis misinformation from website after legal pressure. 25 false statements have been taken down following months of back and forth.
Excellent.
Does that surprise you at all?
Yeah.
You know, does that-
Surprised me they took it down, but Representative Earl Blumenauer, good guy. That's,
yeah, this Congress
I-
launches first
yeah.
bipartisan cannabis caucus.
Yeah.
Representative Earl Blumenauer, Dana Reckenbacher from California, Jason Polis from Colorado, and Don Young from Alaska on February 16th at the U.S. Capitol launched the Congressional Cannabis Caucus, the first of its kind.
Yep. Yep.
That's
The cat's-
amazing.
I keep saying that if the cat's out of the bag and it's not going back in.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You bet.
The dog has escaped. The bipartisan caucus will provide a forum for members of the House to discuss, learn, and work together to establish a new rational approach to federal cannabis policy. Co-chair Blumenauer, Rumbacher, Polis, and Young sent a letter inviting all members of the House to join the caucus. The prohibition of cannabis has been a failure, and Americans across our nation are demanding a more sensible approach, Blumenauer said. Following November 4th election, federal laws are now out of step with 44 states. The time now is to come together and bring the federal government in line with the will of the American people. In talking about that, I listen to a lot of NPR radio, and they've been having a lot of cannabis shows. And I went home 420 night, and they were interviewing a gentleman called Roger Stone. If you watch Coast to Coast Radio, he's on there a lot. He's been an insider to 8 presidents. He writes books on conspiracies. He's an insider. And he said, they were talking about cannabis, and he said if Beauregard Sessions makes any move against the states, that it could force the Congress to legalize across the country.
Wow.
He said that's what could be their unforeseen consequence to protect the states.
Interesting.
That was real interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not in the bag anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's on everybody's lips.
Yeah, and the polls keep rising, going up and up and up too, and people support legalization. So, yeah, it's kind of.
Oh, it's like
Oh, and then Texas. Be sure and talk about Texas.
yeah, but it's like 70 70 to 85% of Americans, most, about 80% support medical, about maybe 60% support legalization.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's a little bit lower.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but the initiative is there, you know, for change. And we're seeing change day to day.
Yeah.
You know, Texas police officers support proposal to reduce marijuana penalties. Texas. My buddy got stopped 3 times in his hippie bus in 1970, and the 3rd time they sent him back across the state line, and they said the 3rd time, if you come back again, we'll arrest you and take your bus away. You know, they go, we don't want you here. And this is active duty and former Texas police officers. A retired Texas District Court judge, Texas House Committee, Jurisprudence Committee chairman, and others gathered February 16th to express support for Texas House Bill 81, which would remove the threat of arrest, jail time, and criminal record for possession of a small amount of marijuana. This is Texas. This is Texas.
I've said for years that I always said that the actual cops that are actually out on the street and dealing with life, I'd be bent to bet the majority of them, down personally, if they weren't afraid to speak out, would be for legalization. They don't have a problem with pot. It's alcohol and meth is what their problems are.
Right. They feel that arresting people for marijuana possession takes officers off the street for hours, reducing their effectiveness. It's time of shrinking law enforcement budgets and staffing reductions. Officers need to be able to maximize their impact in our communities. Issuing citation for low-level marijuana possession can drastically reduce the manpower expense and court costs that go down in prosecuting what is essentially a victimless offense.
Yeah. So we're coming to an end here, and we got to talk about April 28th. It's the Oregon Marijuana Business Conference, and it's April 28th, and it's at the it's on a Friday, and it's going to be at Valley River Inn. So if you got $200 laying around, you're kind of spendy. $200, you get in. So anyway, sure, and that's how you come see us behind Shell High School, the CTV 29 Studios. Thank you.